You're listening to Big Facts with Big Bank and DJ Scream. Big Bank and DJ Scream bring you Big Facts.
Hey man, it's all the way up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That merch in.
yes.
Yeah, that's right. www.bigfactspod.com.
Yeah, with the real ones one time. Y'all come get y'all some of this merch, man.
Bigfactspod.com.
Let's get it.
Get that merch right now. Shop with us.
It's all the way up. Big fat merch.
It's going down.
Visit the new website today, www.bigfactspod.com. Visit now.
Yep, it's the voice of DJ Scream. Another episode of Big Facts. Big Bank is here. Big Bank, man, we had to give him a bonus, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The people that follow Big Facts is good to us. We appreciate their support. You know what I'm saying? They go hard on social media. So this is some gems and some games, man. I'm going to let our two homies that's hanging out with us today. This is conversation. This ain't no interview. Introduce themselves for the people, man. Let me take my purple glove off.
Oh, now you heard me. This the King Raspy Rawls,
Raspy-
professor of the learn-up class.
Raspy Rawls is back on Big Facts. Now, last time Raspy Rawls was here, you got us in a lot of trouble, man. And we invite that trouble again.
I like him.
Go for it, brother.
My name is Derek. Black gave me a different nickname though. Way
What-
back when.
What,
Shit,
what,
what was it?
what nickname is that?
The devil.
The Devil.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. Look, we're gonna chop it up. Bonus Big Facts. The first thing we want to talk about is African Americans getting shot and or murdered by police. Why does this keep happening? Can we stop this from happening? How do we stop this from happening? Why are African Americans getting shot in the back several times? We just saw it happen again in LA. You know what I'm saying? We had some conversations, but we want to just open it up, man. Why is this happening? Can we stop it? Will it stop?
Let me say something off top.
Please.
One thing we have to do as a people, we have to start identifying police as who they really are, slave catchers. And as long as our perception is that they are here to protect and serve, which was a marketing campaign, we are never going to get out this mind funk that we in. Because we keep looking at them as they're supposed to do something for us. They're supposed to help us. They're supposed to protect us. But if we are looking at them as they're supposed to harm us or catch us and throw us into slavery, our mentality towards a cop will be different. And that's one of the biggest things I see. Our perception of them are not who they really are. Our perception is a fake perception, a marketing perception. So first off, we got to get to who they really are and what they have been their whole entire time, slave catchers.
Okay. All right, anybody else feel about that?
I mean, they're just pawns in the plantation economy. They're doing exactly what he's saying. I mean, they're pawns for master. They're the overseer.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery's a real thing. I mean, you talking about people at Middle Georgia picking beans out the ground.
I'm in Louisiana, so you know about Angola.
Everybody knows about Angola. Everybody knows about, what is it, Whacking Hut in California. I think Victoria's Secret.
Yeah,
Slavery's a
Victoria,
real thing. It's not like this
13th Amendment.
Yeah, it's not like a
So,
preposterous.
As soon as we come out of slavery, they start hitting us with vagrancy laws. You know, if you can't read, you go to jail. If you ain't got a job that a white person deems as a high enough job, you go to jail. Hanging out too many of us, you go to jail. So we was already going back to jail, putting us back in convict leasing to make money off us. It's still the same system. Nothing changes.
So again, can it stop? Can it stop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so how does it stop?
For one, they haven't been in power this long. So for one, like I'm saying, like everything is up here first. Our mind, education. Like our minds are so miseducated to where we can't even see what is in front of us and what we need to do because we are miseducated. Like we have to deprogram and reprogram ourselves. That's the biggest thing for me, education. We don't have enough knowledge to go forward. So we need to sit back and get the knowledge that we need before going forward. We keep trying to go forward ignorantly.
Right. So education is important, and we could debate about this. How do you feel about voting?
I'm totally against it.
You're totally against voting, and why is that?
Here's a loaded one. First off, we don't understand that this is a corporation.
Okay.
And by voting, you are signing a literal contract that you are in agreement with this corporation. So when they kill us in the street, you have already agreed that you are property of this corporation. Because voting is one of the ways that you sign a contract to this corporation. That's why it's never a human rights violation when they kill us in the street. Because we are ignorantly signing up to be property of the corporation. So the higher boards, as far as the international community, can never come into the United States because we ignorantly signed up to be its property. So it's just them killing their property on paper. So as the international community look at it, you signed up as black 14th Amendment person, citizen of the United States. That's a corporation. That's an artificial person. So the longest we keep signing up as that, we are never signing up as human beings. We're signing up as corporate property. property of the United States corporation. So when they kill us, it's just them killing their property. This is why it's never a human rights violation. This is why the UN never comes in. As much as we've been killed since Mike Brown, and it's been video since Mike Brown, it has heavily been streamed online. Has anyone ever come in and stepped in?
I mean, this is hundreds of years.
But
the
it
same
wasn't
thing,
filmed. Now it's filmed, so it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Has anyone stepped in?
So you're saying that there's proof of all that. You're saying in so many words that, okay, again, back to the initial question, that it can stop, but it's not likely to stop given the institution. So if you can't break down the institution through voting or politically, which you're against, well, we respect that, how do you...
You build your own.
Build your own, okay. Well, they allow that.
It's already laws in place for us to build our own. It's such thing called the American Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People and the United Nations Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People.
Mm-hmm.
It's for indigenous people.
So when you do that, we bring up Black Wall Street.
Black. That's what I see. I'm just saying that. It's for indigenous people, not black people.
Oh, okay.
Black is white and black are social constructs, social statuses. Bacon's Rebellion, 1682, somewhere around there. Bacon's Rebellion is when they came up with the term white. So when they started putting white in a class, see, we are dealing with statuses and classes, and we don't understand that black is a second-class citizen. So we are below even immigrants coming in here. Because if you look on the census, white, Indian all go back to original people. Black go back to a racial group in Africa. That's not original people. But you're signing up legally on AP. This is why they keep sending y'all that census right now. Because they need to update their books. It's companies. It's record keeping. White folks have been great. I told y'all this last time. Didn't I tell you they've been great at record keeping? White folks are great at record keeping. So they got you, look, your loans, your grants, your voting, census. All they're doing now is updating their record books. This is how they get their money because they tax you from being in their jurisdiction. Taxes fund terrorism. If they can't tax you, they can't cop you. They can't police you. But we keep signing up to be taxed. No one is telling us it's a way to not be taxed and to be separate from their system.
Damn.
This is what no one is telling us. Everybody's screaming, vote, vote, vote.
So what is that way?
So same thing we was talking about last episode, your genealogy. Your genealogy is the key. Because in law, whoever is the oldest in law is the strongest in time. I mean, whoever is the oldest in time is the strongest in law. Meaning whoever been on the land first, you got the strongest land claim. See, they made commercial claims on us when they conquered us. And we don't know that. All this is business. None of this has to do with feelings, white, black. This is all business. And because we are so extra emotional, we can't see the business side of things. We can't see that everything is written in legalese. This is a totally different language than what we speak on a daily. Everything you see they speaking to you is in legalese. Every single thing. But we don't know that, so we don't operate that way. That's why hanging around certain people is bad business.
Okay. Fair enough. So police killing black people.
Insurance.
That's what
Insurance. This is the way that nobody is talking about. Insurance. I'm looking at the camera. Insurance.
Well, break down insurance. What you mean?
Look, let me even start out with, look how the New York was fighting with the NRA about a year or two ago. New York was about to hit the NRA insurance companies and make them stop insuring the NRA to stop the NRA. Like I'm saying, it's all business. You have to learn how a business is structured in order to attack a business. This is why we are not attacking the United States corporation the correct way. Because we're looking at it as it's our government instead of it being a business that's oppressing us.
So you say it, and this is just all clarity and that,
Insurance.
information. So you're saying that come forth November 3rd, in your opinion, it don't matter what happened.
Because all the corporations, something is running in the background repeatedly. It doesn't matter. And Trump is white supremacy, American white supremacy. Biden them is international white supremacy. American white supremacy in the electoral college is not about to give up American white supremacy to the international community. So I don't care what y'all do. Them not taking Trump out of this office at all. Not a chance in hell them taking Trump out of this office. You know why? Because Trump bringing everything back to them over here. This is why they're not taking Trump out of
I
office.
told y'all this shit.
Man, these people don't give a damn about you.
I got bets on
At
Trump.
all.
and
You
then-
say you got bets?
I got bets like
look,
the Super Bowl, bro.
Look,
How?
all right, so Bush messed up in order
How
to
they
bring
gonna take him
Obama
out?
in. Bush messed up on purpose. The whole everything that was all planned. Bush bring Obama in. Obama bring Trump in. Look at their presidency and the things that they put into play and the way they had the country moving, how Bush automatically was a shoe-in for Obama. Obama was a shoo-in for Trump.
What you mean by that?
Because Bush had messed up so much, they was looking for some change.
A reactionary choice.
Yeah, Hegelian dialect. This is what they call the Hegelian dialect, to where you have controlled conflict. You controlling both sides of the thing. That's why it don't matter if you Republican or Democrat. It's all up in here. Skull and Bones. I brought this too for y'all today. This the American Secret Establishment, the Skull and Bones. This is the secret society group in America. So anything you want to know how they got everything organized and how people can't figure out what's going on, right here in this book.
So you saying basically this ain't nothing but a plan going through.
That's all it is. And they need books, man. They list family names and everything. How they look. This right here, even if you wanted to take over a society, which places would you take over? Education, money, law, politics, economy, history, psychology, philanthropy, medicine, religion, media. They telling you how they taking over this, how they infiltrating everything. And there's another thing. In this book, they talk about how the secret societies over here, they infiltrate organizations at the beginning, or they found the organization in the beginning, and they give it the policies and the direction, and then they recruit people over every year to come in and just fill out what their policy already is. So that's like the NAACP. These white folks founded this in the beginning and gave it its policy, and then put black people in position to run those policies. So when you see the NAACP, they ain't nothing but a front group for white folks.
So, man, being a whole different race, and you're here, you know what I'm saying, and we've had some conversations, how does all this dialect, talk to us about your perspective.
I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of what he's saying. For me, I feel like as being a white person, I know how they think. And for me, I feel like a lot of it, people like to kind of give a hidden or conspiracy type agenda to a lot of these things but they're broad daylight. It's like people talk, oh, there's a group of people that are controlling shit. It's like the CEO of Bank of America, the CEO of JP Morgan, the CEO of IBM, it's like these motherfuckers all work together. It's nothing secret. So like people think that it's a secret idea or this secret society. As far as I'm concerned, it ain't secret. It's broad daylight. They all work together. What we have in this country is a ruling class. It's an oligarchy by proxy. It's not really a democracy. You have a group and it's an oligarchy by proxy, which is by virtue of corruption. Because
you got to break that down because people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
I'm sorry.
Because I don't even understand.
I've been deep in it because I've been writing
I'm
the book.
listening to you and I'm going wrong, but go ahead, break it down for me. I know what you're saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. You came in with all. You know what I mean?
I know.
Give us regular words, though, not the white boy words.
An oligarch is basically a member of the corporate elite, someone with a shit ton of money. Jeff Bezos is the Mark Zuckerbergs, the big CEOs with a ton of money. They then can buy influence by virtue of politicians, by lobbyists, by lobbyists. It's not. This isn't something that people. This isn't secret. Everyone knows about it.
We don't lobby. All we said vote. Think about it. If you pull up, that's what I want y'all to post on y'all page. Pull up the stats for how much money white people pay in lobbying and how much we pay in our community for lobbying, and watch the difference. It's gonna blow y'all mind.
I mean, for me, just being from, like, I don't take the same. There's a million amazing, intelligent, super intelligent black leaders. I don't take the position of telling black people what to do. Period. As a white man, I feel like I have, and I have a lot of black brothers. I was raised in Atlanta. So the people that I was nurtured and taught by black women, my doctors were black people. So for me, it's a very personal thing. But I don't feel like I have the moral authority to tell people what to do. I've read Malcolm X and I've read Louis Farrakhan. I've watched Louis Farrakhan. I've internalized Fred Hampton, all these black leaders. But for me, I've never taken the position of wanting to be a black leader. Like I don't want to tell black folks what to do. There's enough people that are really intelligent doing that. But I do believe. I mean, I'm trying to continue a tradition of someone like John Brown or the Weathermen. In terms of
hear too many white folks speak on John Brown.
John Brown is, I want to get a tattooed on my throat with the on the back of my head because I know my fate at the gallows, and I'll never forgive. Because this isn't really, when you get down to it, this isn't really about race. It's about humanity. You know what I mean? You're an equal human. We have equal value as human beings. And I love everybody in this room the same way I would love anybody else of a different color. So it's not about race, but it is about race. Because just like you said, in America, in our plantation economy, racism is a vehicle for classism. The white people who started chattel slavery didn't give a fuck that these people were black. They cared about free labor. and how to exploit any human being for the sake of free labor, to then have investment capital to build these businesses. So for me, like, I agree with what you were saying, but I also disagree in a certain sense, because I feel like Black Americans, it's their country just as much as it's mine. And I feel like there's a lot of talk about things like reparations, which I totally agree with, building their own systems, which I totally agree with. As a white man, I feel like there's two things that have to happen in America. One, you first have to destroy a corrupt and wicked system. Two, you have to rebuild an equitable and fair and compassionate system. I feel like the white man's role, every Black person and every white person could hopefully work together on both of these things. I would never stop anyone from doing or suggest stopping doing anything, anyone from doing any part of what they choose to be a part of. But I feel like it's the white man's burden to destroy a corrupt and wicked system that we've created.
They're not going to destroy it, because if you're sitting there waiting on white people to have a change of heart, you better...
I disagree with that. Because I feel like what you have here is a lot of white people who have been tricked to believe.
Everybody miseducated.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I believe the majority of white people are poor working class white people that have been tricked to made to believe that the idea of white.
If you can make the poorest white person believe they're better than the richest
exactly.
white person,
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. Just like you say, control chaos. Something like what Trump is doing right now, having the caravans go through these liberal cities. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they know it's going to create a reactionary response, and then they can go in there and stop it and be like, look, how I'll keep you safe. White America, I'll keep you safe. When people say white power, that's not because they really give a fuck about whiteness. They give a fuck about maintaining their class position. That's what it's really about. And because race and class have been so commingled in America, it's become it's entirely about race. Because when I've been to jail, when I got locked up, motherfuckers didn't look like me. You know what I mean? So it is about race, but at the same time, in America, race is just a vehicle for class exploitation. And so if you get white folks to understand that they're exploited too, if you get these stupid white motherfuckers all over America to understand that they've been tricked by the right and the left to hate someone that looks like him or like you, all in the interest of a select ruling class of people, about 500-600 people, doing all the evil in the world. They got us all fighting each other: white, black, poor, rich, Democrat, Republican, left, right, gay, straight, Jewish. None of that shit matters, man. It's all really, really powerful group of elite people and the politicians that are there fucking ruining it for everybody, exploiting everybody.
But see, as you look back in history, they always did this. Like,
this has been going on forever.
Always kept the lower class ignorant. And that's why I'm so big on education.
Absolutely.
So as I look through history, I always see how the ruling class always kept the lower class ignorant. And this is how come they was over the rule over the lower class for so many years, because they stay ignorant.
You can't enslave an educated people.
Well, I started the learn-up class to break the system down to us, piece by piece. Section by section, because you're not just going to get this in no one sit down with me to really understand. This is why I started the learn-up class, to break the system down piece by piece, section by section, because it's a lot for us to have to unlearn and relearn. Because it's a lot.
What we have in our American education system isn't education, it's indoctrination.
So basically you saying nigga need to forget everything they taught you.
Not everything.
Not everything.
Because look, a lot of stuff, like especially for us in the streets, us that lived in the streets, a lot of things that we learned in the streets are keys to survival.
Not facts.
A lot of people can't, because I be telling my guy, I be like, see, you don't know how to look at certain things because you don't have to live that street life. But that street life keep you on your P's and Q's at all times. All times. You learn how to fight the system. You learn how to not depend on the system in the street life. You know, you got to put something in somebody else's name. You got to figure out things in the street life because you can't do it. That's going to pay off for you once you start learning how the system actually works. Because now you're going to be like, oh, man, I still need to. All right, you selling dope. You sending packages off. That's logistics.
Yeah.
I got to make sure this person meet that person at a certain time to get that package through. That's logistics, but they don't teach us that.
I agree with that.
So when we start growing our own food, we get trucks, grocery stores, and you got to make sure somebody make it to this farm to pick up this load to bring to this grocery store. That's logistics. Exact same thing, but they don't teach us this. You gonna need all that.
So what would y'all say if someone is of color and they're seeking economic equality, economic empowerment, just equality, just empowerment,
Can I
education,
clarify
enlightenment? Like what are the ground steps? Let's educate people. What are the first steps?
Can I clarify something?
Please.
This is some bullshit white people been doing since this whole thing started with George Floyd. They saying people of color, like they're afraid to say black. This about black Americans.
We gotta stop saying black too. Because that term black holds us hostage into this white black caste system.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All we know is
African
black.
I
Americans.
say people when I say listen, I only say people of color because it is African American or whatever the case is, but it's also Latinos. It's also
everyone gets back to who they are, and it also puts white folks in a corner because now we get off of white and start saying who actually are you. Because I just did a learn up class. My last learn up class was on all the black royals in Europe. So when white folks quick to tell us go back to Africa, like for one, America ain't yours. For two, you whitewash Europe. Because King Charles and King James, all them black people, quote unquote, you melanated beings, copper color. But they don't want to tell you that they had 2 Irish migrations. So we got a melanated Irish migration. That's why you got black folks with Irish last names, thinking that they got it from a slave master. No, you got people that look like you that was Irish that come over here first. Jamaica, Barbados, all that.
What y'all think about the artificial wombs? Like they're supposed to be making the babies without the women now.
But this whole blur of when Hitler first took over, one of the first things Hitler did was stop porn and all that over there.
stop what?
Porn.
Pornography?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he understood how it was messing up the minds. And over here we see how they just feed it to us.
What do you mean? Hold up. Break it down.
They're doing this to tamper with our minds, so they're blurring the lines. All they're constantly doing now is blurring the line. D-Wade.
No, I ain't talking about that.
You talking about the artificial wound, so you blurring the line, so you gonna give now they gonna give a man an artificial wound in order for the man to have a baby.
No, not that.
Not
I ain't
that?
talking about. I'm talking about. They saying they making babies inside of like some little incubator. They supposed to be putting the shit that's in women, like the baby be sitting in the bag and just grow. They already tested it on.
The shit just be sitting in the bag.
Yeah, they already tested on the animal. That
That's
shit
what they
working.
talk about in the 90s with test tube babies.
So they gonna just create the baby in the lab and just give it to a woman?
Yeah, like,
What
like
ain't
like,
that what like the Kardashians and all them do anyway?
They use the surrogate. I think.
but they put them
That's
inside of
surrogate.
women though, right?
But
Yeah.
but they-
Okay, you're
they-
saying if they put them
but-
inside of
but
a
the baby is
human,
growing
They not
inside
put them
that.
inside of human. They put
you're
them.
saying you're
That's what I'm
saying
saying,
that
what he
this
said.
is lab built people, humans.
Yeah.
So imagine that's crazy to me because who would actually want something that's not tied to them on a genetic level?
Nah, it is because I guess they saying they get her eggs, get his nut or whatever, and then goddamn you pick the baby eye color, all kind of shit.
What the? You sure that's not what the Kardashians and all them do?
They might.
They letting women.
Okay,
carry the
surrogate is a lighter, more.
Word. I get what you say. You
Okay.
say it's basically the same thing.
It's the same shit, but your shit ain't gonna. They gonna put a. It's gonna be
That's
a
what
false
Beyonce,
heartbeat.
Kardashians, a lot of Hollywood people.
I'm saying like it's like what
You're
your baby.
saying test tube as in. I
100%.
don't want to say they're soulless, but basically
They soulless. Nah, no,
they're
nah,
we
nah.
could make the human
They
right
soulless.
here.
So basically, they take the egg from the woman, and you can go and you can pick their eye color, you can pick all that, and instead of it
So
going
it's
to
just
the
genetic
human body-
engineering.
Yes. instead
Yeah,
of
it's
the
some
human
computer
body
shit.
in an incubator, and it's like doing whatever it's supposed to do in this box.
Okay.
I look at that as them always. So their birth records, their birth and death rates are on the decline. Like they're dying more than they're giving birth. And you got to think about when they first started the what it was IVF or whatever it is, when women get the artificially inseminated. The price of that was so high, and it was 2 sessions that they had to go through. I think it was like $15,000 back when they first started in like '79. So it was like $15,000, and you had to go like through 2 sessions. So you know, back in that time, even way back then, it wasn't our women that was paying for that because our women didn't have that type of money. So you got to always think who needs to have birth like that. We don't. They trying to stop us from having children. That's why we got them abortion clinics in our communities, because they know if we actually start loving on each other and not killing each other, we overpopulate them in an instant. And that's what they fear. They
Who is they?
the elite. the establishment, the secret society, Skull and Bones, the group, the Round Table, the Milner group, the Kindergarten group. Let me see what other the Cicero's group, the Vatican, the Jesuits. I can call names. Yeah, that's names.
He gonna get them folks gonna drop a bomb on Big Fat.
That's names.
He folks gonna send a missile in this bitch fuck with
Raspy. You
Raspy.
don't even know that. See, the European group, the European Secret Society group started by Cicero's because you hear about Cicero's scholars. So many people that went to college are Cicero's scholars. And Cicero's first 5 wills, he wrote in his real wills that they were supposed to form a secret society once he died off of his money and his wealth in order to keep British imperialism going. That was in his will, his first 5 wills, written in contract for British imperialism. And people don't
How you know all this shit,
I
though?
read.
You see all them books, bro?
You be reading them motherfuckers all of them.
That's all I do, facts. My wife be like, people outside, you got some more books every day. I got books coming every day.
Do you ever feel though, like, cause a book? I'm just throwing this out there because I spoke to your Naeem Akbar, certain people, but a book is written by a man. So do you take everything at face value for everything you read, or do you put research against other research?
I take multiple books or articles or information from different people on one subject. I don't just read one book on one subject. Like I buy multiple books. I have multiple things I dig into.
You do your research.
Yeah. I'm a student of Steve Coakley.
Got you.
Like that's the Boule. That's the Boule killer. That's who gave us the Boule. Steve Coakley. So long live Steve Coakley. No, I don't know if a lot of us know who the Boule is, but.
So in conclusion, what kind of even outside of your family, like what kind of conversations do you have, like when the George Floyd happens, when all of these situations happen, what kind of conversations do you have with your fellow friends of your color? Like, what are your conversations?
I mean, to be honest, like there's been kind of an awakening moment for me in that, and it's not the same awakening moment that a lot of white people have been having. Like, oh my God, this is so bad. I can't believe this happened. It's not been that awakening moment for me because I've been knowing this my whole life. I've been sitting in trap houses, watching motherfuckers get beat up, shot at, all that my whole life. So this is not something that's new to me. However, what I did not know was just how fucking ignorant and insensitive white people were as a whole. And so for me, that's been a massive awakening and eye-opening experience. I thought that it was further along than that, and it's not. And so for me, that's kind of been the nature of the majority of the conversations I've been having as a result of this kind of catalyst type event that happened as a result of George Floyd. It's been like, wait a minute, you didn't fucking know this? You've been listening to gangster rap music this whole time. How the fuck did you not know? And NWA said this shit in fucking 80s. Y'all know about Reagan, crack cocaine, Oliver North, COINTELPRO? No, but see, a lot of them don't. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Is a lot of these white motherfuckers are just as miseducated as you were saying about your people. You know, they just don't know.
Yeah, because a lot of this shit, I don't know none of this shit he talking about.
The thing is, as a white person, you don't have nothing. Like, you already in a position of being up here. So why you need to learn about something that someone's suffering from?
But whenever we have, like we having a voting, when we have these voting going on, one thing white folks do, they tend to, they go back and forth. They in order for them to get the desired outcome they want, they gotta have to control conflict.
Totally.
So they spill a lot of dirt on each other.
Totally.
And if you notice, the people who follow them, the poor white trash, they do their digging on the other candidate to be able to talk shit against the poor white trash who on the other side. So it's be a lot of it going on. It's just that they don't acknowledge it when it comes to us. When it comes to their wrongdoing to us, they don't know what they're talking about. But when it comes to the wrongdoing of the other side doing it to them, they can see that clearly. When the Democrat and Republican, a poor white Democrat could tell you what a rich white Republican is doing to them to fuck them over, and vice versa. But when it comes to us, they all.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
That ain't even happening. Yeah, that ain't even happening.
I agree with that. I mean, for me, it was kind of wild. You know what I mean? Because I grew up in Atlanta, so I had a really kind of unique experience. I grew up here in the 90s, so I was always the minority. I don't have this like weird Rachel Dolezal thing where I like feel like you know what I mean, I'm a black person. I don't have that kind of, but I've still always been a minority, and I've been very much so involved with the community. These are people that I love. My first girlfriend was black. My teachers, all these different things. So I had a very unique perspective, just by virtue of my socialization. So for me, it was quite surprising to learn just how little people that look like me knew. You know, I mean, I would say things about Fred Hampton or George Jackson or you know, and they're like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, wow, you really only know Martin Luther King?
Yeah,
like that's wild.
But the education system was purposely to miseducate everyone.
I agree with that.
So like with Martin Luther King when he was around, when you just said that, it made me think about like at least we had a face somebody to lead.
They gave us him too.
Yeah, we should have just kept y'all out our business, man. We'd have figured this shit out, man. We'd have figured this shit out, man.
I just posted today that the Natchez Indians said the exact same thing. The Natchez Indians said the exact thing. If I go in my phone, I read this quote.
Cause you gotta think, and I do a lot of business with white people in them buildings and shit. You gotta think, bro. That's what break up
everything.
Labels. Just say it's a nigga with a independent label. Mm-hmm. All right. That shit is doomed when you put when the white people get in it too.
Wow, but why? Okay, here my
because it's like
why is it that why is it that we can be separated by whatever race and whatever they got going on, but see what I'm saying, that they don't allow that to happen on the other end. So when I hear that, it's kind of like
that's not the main part. That's not the main part.
We had the labels and we were signing young white artists or whatever the case is, or young white
music that was destructive to white people.
To music that was destructive to
white people only. Come on, we got
no. What I'm saying is, do you think that because now we're blaming the labels sometimes for pulling apart labels?
Nah, but but guess what? Like he just said earlier, like when like he said about the Democrat, like he said the Democrat and the Republican. You
gotta hear what he said.
They fund the NWA. Jerry Keller, Heller, whatever the Jew is, fake Jew is. They fund the NWA. They fund the gangster rap. They stopped putting out the balance in hip hop.
Conscious rap.
Just the balance, period. For us to have a balance, they started financing gangster rap.
So, but don't you think you did say it's all business, right? Because if it was all if it was,
but look, check this out. Go ahead.
If it's just agenda and then not just business, you see what I'm saying? Then we still got a J. Cole, we still got a Kendrick Lamar, we still got these people who became.
But how many people?
For sure, it's not balanced. I'm not saying it's balanced. I'm just saying.
Look, let me make that point. Let me make that point, man. Because what I'm saying about these labels, I just know how these people be, and it happened to the biggest ones. Like you don't need those guys anymore.
Well, for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. That part, but niggas do the same shit. But like I'm saying. Within,
hold on.
We gotta.
Ain't no black people going to no group of other race of people.
No, I'm saying to each other. They do it to each other.
Oh, to ourselves.
Yeah, we do it to ourselves. But I'm
sure.
saying like at the end of the day, niggas will trust a white person before they trust a nigga.
Okay.
Cause niggas been around niggas all their life. Like man, I ain't fuck with these niggas.
And you know
it's just like a nigga get a car paint. I'm gonna take my shit to these. I'm finna do my shit to these. I'm gonna let these fit my roof. I'm finna woo. Niggas ain't calling niggas to do shit. Just be 100.
That's been part of my push.
It's like the white white face to niggas even think
Brainwash.
like these folk won't play you. Like shit, but I'm gonna let these fit my motor. But it do have right or wrong though, bro. If you let these paint them
also we gotta understand that
it's because I didn't get to finish my thought.
Go ahead.
Please.
I believe in.
We really on folk. Nah,
I'm cool with that. I understand that energy. I really do. I'm not playing.
I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
I'm not fucking with you though. I understand. To me, it's quite remarkable how inclusive Black Americans are, or African Americans, whichever is the. You know what I mean?
It's a difference between white people and to me though.
Yeah, of course.
Cause you got some white people that don't be on that shit though.
Until the time, trust me. Look, let me tell you like this. My mama
I
neighbor.
tried to goddamn clean it up a little bit.
My mama neighbor back at home white. Trust me, when it came out of voting for the mayor, you started seeing when them fucking little signs started going up in them yards up in the neighborhood, who was white and who was black. Trust me. And every time I'm home, that white woman.
This is my final conversation on this. And then my belief. I got it. I got to just get this off.
Go ahead.
So if shit hit the fan in America and there was a war, we won't even label the war. It was a war between, I don't know, people who want this and people who don't want that. You don't think that people of every race could come together to fight this institution that you speak of? Wow.
Because so many people are tied to this institution in ways that they don't even know.
So you say he will walk off on us?
No, I'm not saying him. I'm
okay,
saying
he is. That's what I'm saying. He is.
Not.
Bro, what? Bro, that's just like the movie.
I just asked.
What the fuck I'm gonna keep walking with y'all for the bullet coming over here?
You gonna go to his family.
My face good over
here. You gonna go to his family. You gonna go to your family.
Niggas finna go over there where that shit good.
I gotta go to my
Bye, babe.
Our
back.
family ain't gonna be enough to fight the
love
war.
you.
It's gonna. We've seen
Love
the Civil
you.
War before. If it's, I'm not saying it's gonna have to be more than just.
This how you have to start forming your militias. Your family has to be your militia. You gotta start training your women and men in your family.
Man, I'm gonna tell you how that shit.
I would like to finish my thought.
All right, bro, we
Please,
white boy
let's
go last
conclude.
on this shit, man. Let me finish this shit, man. The white boy go last on this shit. We talk about this shit, man. You wait, nigga, to the end. Nah, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying because the shit he talking about with the labels and everything, the same thing with Martin Luther King. Once he started talking about class, once you get to a point of enlightenment as a civil rights leader or an activist in America, and you're challenging the natural order of the plantation economy, and you start talking about class, that's when they kill you. Because as I said, racism is solely a vehicle for classism. They don't give a fuck if somebody goes outside and becomes an anomaly outside of Black Americans and gets rich. But they don't want their entire natural order of this caste system to be disrupted.
They don't want you to go outside of America corporation to get rich. They want you to get rich up under the American corporation umbrella.
I mean, I wouldn't dispute that either. All I'm saying is this, is that it's about money at the end of the day. And all you have to, just like you say, is about the mind first. First is a revolution of the mind before it's a revolution of the limbs. You have to first change people's minds. And I guarantee you, most of these white people don't have any idea that they've been tricked. They do not have any idea they've been miseducated. They don't know that. They're stupid as fuck. The majority of all humans are stupid as fuck. Let's be real. So that's just the truth of the matter. And for me, it was what it comes. If you look at the trajectory of every single civil rights leader in American history, namely Black American civil rights, as soon as they start talking about class, they wet your ass up.
Because you're gonna end up.
Because you're threatening the natural order of things.
You're gonna get out of the silver conversation. So let me.
Well, don't talk about this shit on here then.
You're gonna get out the silver conversation.
They wet your ass up, man. We ain't trying to catch no.
I'm
talking about him. He bringing up some shit to get a nigga wet up.
But no, look.
No, because the ruling class.
We don't know nothing about class in here, man.
The ruling class wants to perpetuate race tension, so you don't have class tension.
But there are racial tensions, though.
Of course there is, and they want
I don't
that.
think so. The police that are killing Black men, African American men, however you want to title them, some of them don't have money.
No, I know they're pawns in the ruling class's system.
The slave catchers.
They're pawns. They're crash dummies for the fucking master. If everybody's focused on the fucking police, what about the master? If you're on a plantation, right, and you're a slave, and you fuck with the overseer, what's master gonna do? You take out the overseer, what's master gonna do? He gonna replace the overseer with a new overseer, a meaner, crueler one.
Look, check this out. Check this out, D and Rash, because we about to get out of here. I ain't rushing y'all. Give us one solution, and you give us a solution. What we could do.
I mean, it's about land, power, money, and freedom, education, art, love, unity. People understand. People have to know who the enemy is first. Then you decide how you can fix the problem. First, you have to identify the real enemy, and it's not each other. It's about 500-600 people in suits, the real devils.
Same thing you just said. So, education, land. So, in order for you to get land, you need your genealogy. You need to know who you are. So, we can never reclaim our land back if we don't know who we are. And so, one thing I wanted to point on is, we talk about civil rights. We always fighting for civil rights, but we never fought for human rights. And that's our problem. Our aim is in the wrong place. We shouldn't be fighting for civil rights. We should be fighting for human rights. And because we fight for civil rights, we are going the wrong way. If we start fighting for human rights, then our trajectory is going to go a different route, and our education is also going to go a different route, because in order to get human rights, you have to go a different route. And that's our biggest problem between civil rights and human rights. We don't have human rights, but we are up here trying to scream about civil rights. Let's get some human rights first. Let's be looked at as a human first. Because them white folks, them crackers, they care more about your vote than they do about your life. So you need to be putting more respect and attention on your life than on your vote. You more worried about your vote than you really be worried about your life. You worried about some civil rights more than you worry about your human rights. There's a difference. And legally, we don't have human rights. And until we get to the point to where we are establish ourselves in a status to where we can get human rights, we're going to continue being property of United States corporation. They're going to continue having jurisdiction and authority over us, which also gives them authority to kill us dead in the street, and nobody will say anything.
I would add to that and say power as well. Beyond just human rights, there needs to be power. Like people have lost the term black power. Why?
Black, you got to understand, before black power come up, our people didn't even like the word black. That's what I'm saying. We got to get out of that black social construct.
I get that, but I'm talking about power, period, for people that look like you.
But, all right, so when we start figuring, our power got stripped when they took away who we were. So once you start going back into your genealogy.
Do you think like, okay, the abusive influence, like Kendrick Lamar said, but do you think like we are powerful, we're influential, we have a lot of money? Do you think we fuck
most
up our
influential.
Power and our influence sometimes, though?
We
don't
own
use it.
nothing.
Okay, ownership for sure.
Ownership's a big
Nipsey
thing.
Hussle preached ownership because we need to own more.
All right,
So we do have influence like a
all right,
motherfucker.
you
We
got-
just
all
saw
right,
it
so look,
happen.
Charlemagne and Joe Budden going at it right now.
Mhm.
Joe Budden just fired back at Charlemagne and told Charlemagne, me and you may look like we fighting the same thing, same battles, but we not.
I saw it.
Because I'm fighting over ownership. You fighting over a contracted worker is a different fight. And so enough of us aren't looking
Real shit.
for ownership.
For sure.
We're not looking to set our family for family business, to where you got to come to our family for everything, for anybody in our family. We're not looking to set up our family that way. We don't look at our family like that. That's our problem. We don't look at our family
That's
as
real
our
shit.
end-all, be-all. You're supposed to
shit.
start with your family, die with your family,
That
live with
real
your
shit.
family, eat with your family.
That real shit.
Blood is thicker than anything. These white folks lean on their blood for 10, 20 generations.
Exactly.
We right
Exactly.
here ain't
I
even
agree
trying
with
to.
that.
Exactly.
This is
Niggas
how
is
they get our land.
Real shit. Big
I'm
facts.
trying to tell y'all this
Them
shit.
facts
I
right
keep
there.
telling y'all
Them
this
facts
shit.
right there.
Your
That's fact.
genealogy is how you get your land back. Nothing moves without land. This shit has been about land this whole time. We fighting about everything else, and nobody's telling us it's about land. You can't build more land. They are stealing the land. It's about land. We need to take our land back everywhere, and it's all paperwork. The pen is mightier than the sword. Ain't got nothing to do with no war. That's why they keep us so confused and looking everywhere. Because if we stop and look in, we figure it out. And in is your family. Your nationality comes from bloodline. Your nationality comes from your family, or you have to go to another nation and sign allegiance with that nation and revoke your allegiance with the nation that you come from. Other than that, that comes from your bloodline. Black is not a nationality. African American is not a nationality. 14th Amendment citizens is not a nationality. We have no nationalities. And there was over 500 nations in America before colonization. So all of us trying to come together as one big kumbaya moment is not going to happen. We got to get that out of our mind too. You got to look at your family, get your family together. That's all I want everybody to do. You get your family together, make your family a nation, then that family could get with another family. And that family could get with another family. Y'all form a confederation. It's strength in numbers. In diversity, we got to stop thinking we got to be all 140 million of us under one nation. That's not how our ancestors lived, and that's not how our solutions go to get up out of this mess. When you read the paperwork, the black and white, in order for us to get out of this mess, is genealogy, trust. Because the trust is the vehicle that every, what you quote unquote call a country, is in. Like everything in Africa, what y'all think are countries, are actually corporations. That's not countries. Those are all businesses. And that's why Africa can have presidents at the head of every country in Africa, quote unquote country, and they still paying these. Why? Because Africans don't own the trust of their land. Same thing with quote unquote Native Americans with the Snyder Act. When they became citizens, the United States took their trust in the land. It's all the same shit. The system is worldwide. Trust back this system worldwide, and all of it goes off your bloodline. This is why they keep the indigenous people in other parts of the world pushed into the corners. That's all it is.
I'll add something to what you were saying, Scream, as well. In terms of like Black American influence, like it was crazy to me. I've been all over Western Europe. I've been all over the world. And last time I was in Thailand, I was out there. I'm like, man, I'm way far away from home. I'm from the East Side. So when I start hearing music that sounds like Future, it's mind blowing to me. And then you realize that Black American culture, I'm not even sure what the right word, you know what I mean?
Okay, so let me just say this. The correct term in American law for indigenous people in America is Indian. So that's all Indian means. Indian only means the aboriginal inhabitants of North America. So whenever you say Indian, a lot of people don't get that Black folks are Indians. It's hard for a lot of people to see that because they whitewash the image. Same way I say there was a lot of Black warriors in Europe. Europe was black too first, but they whitewashed the imagery. So really the term in law is Indian. Ain't no black Indian, just Indian. Because a lot of our ancestors was the original inhabitants of North America. They are what will be labeled as Indian by law.
I mean, people that look like everyone in this room besides me, from my side of town, have created a culture and a music and intellectual property that's been exploited, and is the second that is worldwide. It is now the worldwide youth culture. You know, so Black American culture, whatever the hell you want to call it, is the worldwide global youth culture, meaning that intellectual property is extremely valuable.
We finna beat your ass when we get out there, bro.
Hey,
We
man.
finna beat your ass, bro.
Listen,
You wrong color today, bro. Y'all
That's
talking
fine.
this
I'm
shit.
with that.
We finna go.
Listen.
Let her beat your ass,
Yeah,
bro,
I'm
for
with
all
that.
that shit
It's
your
cool.
folk did,
It's
bro.
cool. I'm with that. But listen, let me finish what I'm saying. So it's the most valuable piece of intellectual property in culture worldwide. That translates to money. So if you look at the GDP of American export, number 2 is entertainment. Who do you think fucking controls that? Look at the analytics of Spotify. Who makes that? Whose intellectual property is that?
Guess what's funny? The top 5 artists of this year was all white folks.
This year? Maybe so. I mean, but the majority of analytics, hip hop, rap music is now pop music.
We are the most mimic and everything.
Totally.
Because of our natural in sync with the earth. You know what I'm saying? We just have that gift. And so it's mimic. And only here. Because you can look for people from everywhere else, but it's American. It's the American culture. The melanated American beings is the most copied beings.
And that's what I'm saying.
The fastest, well, besides boat, you know what I'm saying? But as far as us overall, we're just that athletic, sing, that we just do it. Artistic, just all around for some reason. And I kind of think once they got here, they was like, oh yeah, we got, because people don't know how many actually Indians were shipped away from America to the islands and North Africa and Europe. People don't know it was millions of Indians shipped away from here. People think that the transatlantic slave trade was just slaves brought from Africa over here. When actually the first slaves in the transatlantic slave trade was brought from the islands to Europe. When Columbus went back, he brought the first set of slaves back over there.
We got to get you back on.
But there was already...
What's the Raspy Show, man? What's your show? You got your podcast yet?
Nah, I started a class, man. I started the Learn Up class. At first, I had started it, teaching it in person out here, and COVID hit, so they stopped everything, which was good.
So where can they go to get this game now from you directly?
You go to raspyrawls.com, RASPYRAWLS. Okay. I got the Learn Up class on there. You know, I teach class every 2 weeks to break down the system to us, subject by subject. So it ain't just one big blur. And you can go piece by piece and start to get a overview of the system, because until we get be able to point out what's really going on overall, we ain't gonna never make change, because we're gonna always be trying to make change up under them. And once you go so high up under them, you hit the ceiling because you're up under someone. So we gotta learn how to move from under them and then go vertical, then vertically integrate. We keep trying to vertically integrate while we are still colonized. We got to figure out how to be uncolonized and then vertically integrate.
Big shouts out to Raspy Rawls. Salute to you, D, for pulling up, man. You know what
we
I'm saying?
appreciate
Good game,
y'all,
good
man.
building.
Appreciate y'all.
Just a bonus episode. You know what I'm saying? Just some good information. RaspyRawls.com. They want to tap in with you then.
I'm writing a book right now.
Writing the book. Okay.
I got another one coming out too.
The book is coming soon.
Yeah, Freedom in Ferguson.
All right. Well, now we're going to do this again soon, fellas, man. We appreciate y'all. It's Big Facts. DJ Scream, Big Bank, salute.
Big Bang and DJ Scream bring you Big Facts.
Hey, man, it's all the way up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That merch in.
yes,
Yeah, that's right. www.bigfactspod.com.
Yeah, with the real ones one time. Y'all come get y'all some of this merch, man.
Bigfactspod.com.
Let's get it.
Get that merch right now. Shop with us.
It's all the way up. Big fat merch.
It's going down.
Visit the new website today, www.bigfactspod.com. Visit now. You're listening to Big Facts with Big Bank and DJ Scream.